All right, President Trump held a phone call with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu yesterday to discuss the latest on the war in Iran. The president also sending a clear warning to Iran, writing on Truth Social, quote, "For Iran, the clock is ticking and they better get moving fast or they won't be anything left of them. Time is of the essence." Fox News contributor and former CIA station chief Dan Hoffman joins me now. Dan, good morning to you. So we're hearing from our reporters in Israel that there is a real sense there that right now the resumption of military action is only a matter of time. So what are the chances the president makes that move this week?
Yeah, I think we're at an inflection point right now. And look, the United States military has done significant damage to Iran's drone capabilities, their ballistic missile sites, as well as their nuclear program. What we haven't done so far is change the regime's behavior. We have not induced them to begin negotiating in good faith over a long-term solution to what concerned us about the JCPOA, and that is their nuclear program, the stored highly enriched uranium that we need to gain access to and remove from Iran, their ballistic missile program, and their support to proxy terrorists. Ultimately, that's how the Trump administration's military campaign against Iran will be judged. And of course, Iran has disrupted the flow of traffic in the Strait of Hormuz. We also need to gain escalation dominance there. So I'm sure the president is huddling with his advisors and receiving intelligence reports from Director CIA Ratcliffe about Iran's negotiating strategy, their plans, their intentions, their pain points. And I'm sure that military strikes are on the table. I would not be surprised if we continue to look at decapitation strikes. Perhaps those are the most likely to induce a change in this regime's behavior.
Yeah, you know, Dan, when you hear from Iranian officials right now, they're saying that they want guarantees from the United States, even before entering into negotiations, that the U.S. recognizes Iran's control over the Strait of Hormuz. So it sounds like right now they don't just want to survive this war, they want to benefit, they want to gain from it. So what do you think the calculation is in Iran, inside Iran right now?
Well, I think right now, and that's a key question to be asking, because we do need to try to see the world through the eyes of these Iranian IRGC leaders, specifically General Vahidi, who is leading, by all accounts, the country right now, in spite of the fact that there's a new Ayatollah. The key for Iran is how they perceive their actions against the United States. They clearly believe that there's a threat, a domestic threat, from protesters, and so they're going to suppress that and violate the human rights of their own population. They need to appear strong against the United States. They also want to appear to be the face of resistance, to gain more support from among their proxy terrorist groups like the Houthis, who continue to be engaged against our Gulf allies in the region, and Hezbollah, not to mention Hamas and proxy Shia militant groups in Iraq. So I think that's behind some of Iran's bluster, and they're probing the United States. They want to reduce or eliminate altogether U.S. influence in the Middle East.
Yeah, and on Friday, the president announced a major action in Nigeria. He announced that U.S. and Nigerian forces killed the second-in-command of ISIS globally, saying on X, though he thought he could hide in Africa, but little did he know we had sources who kept us informed on what he was doing. What does that do for our ongoing war on terror, and also what message could that possibly send in a situation like Iran?
Well, I think very notable counterterrorism operation where we partnered with our Nigerian government forces, armed forces, and so they're a force multiplier for our worldwide counterterrorism efforts. This guy we targeted, Abu Bilal al-Munaki, he was a very senior, reportedly the #2 leader of ISIS. And so we are going to be disrupting plots, not just in Western Africa, but globally by striking him. It demonstrates that we have the intelligence capability to find and fix the location of terrorist leaders and take the fight to the enemy. We're not deploying hundreds of thousands of troops to Africa. We're just eliminating a terrorist threat, and that's a great success.
Yeah, the president says the clock is ticking, and we will all be watching, as we always do. Fox News contributor Dan Hoffman. Dan, thank you so much for joining us.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube, and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.